from the studios of the Bakersfield, California, it's time to open up with real people, real talk about real stuff. And now, a special welcome to our friends throughout California, across the nation, and around the world to this week's edition of Open Up.
Good morning and welcome to Open Up. I'm Tina Miller.
And I'm Don Clark, your favorite pair on the air. It's a beautiful day here in Bakersfield, California. We hope it's even more beautiful wherever you are. And what a great day we've got ahead and a great show we've got ahead.
Yes, Don, we are highlighting, as we like to give a platform to outstanding people that have stories to tell.
Yes.
And things that they're doing. So we have two young women that are outstanding in this community.
Yeah, and as a studio audience, we have Tina's skydiving, bungee jumping husband here. I mean, he is a man of adventure.
Yes, thank you. And welcome to our live studio audience. Okay, Don, let's start. Well, we don't have our juice yet from Nature's Fruit Market.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It is coming,
It's
though.
on its way?
It's
Okay,
on
that's
its
my
way.
breakfast.
And the little, what they call a booster shot, I guess.
All right.
It's coming, too, and I hope you're going to have it
All right.
again like
I
you did
need
last.
a booster chair. Maybe, instead of-
I need a booster.
You know, in Anchor Wars, they used to have, who can sit the highest in the chair.
That's, you know what, I thought about bringing one of those, I've seen them sit on telephone books.
Yeah.
Sit up, but I don't think I need that today. Don, we have an outstanding young guest here,
Indeed.
and her name is Karina Capolino.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karina.
To all of you that don't know, Karina is Community Outreach Coordinator of CASA. And is it CASA or CASA?
It's CASA.
It's CASA. And CASA is Court-Appointed Special Advocate.
Absolutely.
And this is dealing with children.
Yes,
Okay.
we're dealing with abused and neglected children within our Kern County.
Okay. And do I understand that Dr. Phil and his wife Robin are celebrity spokespersons? Or
They're supporters of CASA, absolutely. They totally agree with the type of work that we do within our community, and not just here in Kern County, but all across the United States.
Excellent. Okay. So talk to us about your position with CASA.
Absolutely. So a lot of people think when they hear the word CASA, they think, well, that's house in Spanish. That's the first thing that I thought when I heard of CASA. But like you said, it stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. So what we do is we recruit, screen, and we train volunteers within the community so that way they can be the advocates and the voice for these children during the court process. So that's all in a nutshell of what CASA does.
Okay. And how long have you been on staff?
I've been there over a little bit over 2 years. And not only do I work as a CASA employee, but I'm also a volunteer. So I have my own case that advocate for these children.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Okay. And can you talk about any of it?
I can talk a little about it. I can't give out too much information
Sure.
because of confidentiality. I am
Yes.
sworn in by the judge, so we take an oath of confidentiality. However, I advocate for a multiple set of children over 5, and they range from toddler up until preteens. And so we actually split our case. So we have a total about 3 CASAs on the children, just because of the placements and just making sure that these children's that the children are okay, making sure that we are advocating for what is the best interest of these children, especially during a traumatizing transition in their lives. They've been removed from what they know as home and now placed in a strange environment in a foster home. So can you imagine how scary that is? Or a 5-year-old going into court to talk to a judge. I mean, that's very intimidating. So as a CASA, we're a voice for the children. We're known to be the extra set of eyes and ears for the judge and a voice for that child.
Excellent.
Karina, I hate to get into grim statistics. I'm always hesitant to do that. But how big a problem is it, abused children and neglected children, abandoned children here in Kern County, and perhaps even on a wider scale?
So there's about 2,000 dependent children in the system, and CASA only serves about 12% of those children. So a lot of these cases come into the system because it's either substance abuse and or mental illness because of their parents.
Is it only 12% because that's all the volunteers you have? If you had volunteers, you could serve a broader percentage?
Absolutely. So we are appointed the most difficult cases. And so since the judge feels there is definitely a concern for this family, that's why he appoints us. We visit them on a weekly basis and we just build up that relationship. One thing that we do as a volunteer is we're making sure that we're a consistent and caring adult, because these children are bounced around from placement to placement, foster homes to group homes and back at home with parents. And if the children are taken away again, I mean that's they don't have that stability. So we have to make sure that we are that consistent person in their lives.
No, you are a volunteer.
Yes, I am.
From what field did you come from, and what attracted you into this kind of advocacy?
I definitely have a heart for children. I love children. I love their innocence and their purity. However, my background is mental health. I was a case manager for psychiatrists, and this job actually landed in my lap. I was not looking for an employment. However, this opportunity was presented to me, and I thought, why not? I do believe in their mission, and once again, I love children, and I believe the work that I'm doing now is going to affect them as they grow into adults. They will forever remember that someone was there in one of their hardest times of their life.
Tell us about the background of some of your fellow volunteers. Where do they all come from?
Some can be homemakers, some can be attorneys, some can be doctors, some are retired educators. Like I'm a volunteer, so I work full time. I also have other personal commitments that I'm committed to. And we have also younger people that are interested. You have to be at least 21 years of age.
Okay.
And so we have those who are going to school, working full time, who have families. So you don't have to have an education in this. All we ask is that you be that caring, consistent adult and just have good common sense. That's all we ask.
Those are the three components: caring, consistent, so you're always there.
Absolutely.
They're not bounced around, and common sense about the way you deal with them.
Good common sense. Absolutely.
How excellent. What did you bring with you today?
Well, I brought some information. Here with me, I brought some orientation dates. I'm not sure if they can see, but if not, they can find it online, kerncasa.org.
So if a person is interested in volunteering, they can just go online and apply themselves? Or?
Yes, we have a volunteer application because
Okay.
not just anybody can become a CASA advocate. They have to undergo a process, an interview, and then be accepted into our program.
Describe that process and that interview.
Yes. So we have the volunteers have to undergo an orientation. It's about 45 minutes or so. We have several dates and times. And if those dates and times do not work with any of those interested, that I'm willing to meet with them one-on-one. And one of the commitments also is we ask for an 18-month commitment. This is not a normal volunteer opportunity. You're not just coming in for one day and working in the office. However, we do need help in the office, with volunteers and different ways. But if this is an interest for these people, then they are interviewed with a 3-person panel, including myself. They do have to undergo a background check because we just want to make sure that all of our children remain safe at all times, just because of the traumatizing experience that they've already gone through.
What would be the average caseload? Like, how many children do you advocate for, and others?
So it depends. What I love about this is as, you are a volunteer and you have the veto power, whether you want to say, I want to advocate for this case or I don't want to advocate for this case. So some are sibling sets. We've had a sibling set as large as 10 come into through our office, but that doesn't mean there's only one advocate appointed to that case. There can be several appointed to that case. So it just really does depend.
Describe for us the process once a case is assigned to you. Once you agree to accept the case, how does the case come to you? And then walk us through the process that you begin to counsel and advocate for that.
So
that
after
child.
you're accepted into the program, you actually have to undergo about 32 hours of training.
Wow.
And with that, you are trained how to write a court report, because what you do is you are making fact-based recommendations to the judge, and the judge has 2 different reports. He'll have the social worker report, and then he'll have the CASA report, and then from those 2 reports, he'll make his final decision. So because we're also in connection with the social workers, with the attorneys, So there's a lot of training that that happens. But after that, all of our cases are appointed by the judge. The only other people that can request us are social workers or attorneys, but no one else within the community. And so once they're appointed to the case, they have to receive what's called appointment orders. So that is an official document stating that we've been appointed by the judge and we are able to be what's called an independent investigator. So we're not investigating whether abuse happened, but we are there making like an officer of the court, making sure what the children's needs are getting done. And so from there, you have an advocate supervisor. There's lots of support. We're not just going to throw you in and figure it out. And there's case plans to see
Yes.
what is the goal for these children. And one thing we want to make sure is that they have permanency, that they're not bouncing around, and to be reunified back with their parents after services have been rendered to them.
Karina,
Okay.
when we come back from our break, I'd like to hear from you how you have grown both personally and professionally
Absolutely.
just by being involved in this for the last 2 years and the kind of growth you see in your fellow volunteers.
Yes.
We'd really like to hear about
Thank
that.
you.
Yes,
Very interesting.
absolutely.
And we'll be right back.
Thank you.